This will be the second thing I do to build my final project. I'm generally a guy who likes to put data in while I build. So I've got my ERD in front of me, and in fact, I'll probably keep it in front of me for a while. But I like to get data in the database so that I can start by coding the presentation layer of my project. So let's go ahead and I've got a recipe open, and I'm going to go to my database here, and we are going to get a recipe going. Now I have a title here, so this will be, I'll just do a quick insert, and I'll just put strawberry shortcake. Now notice I don't have that many fields in this table to describe my shortcake. I don't have time to cook. I don't have a lot of things. It's very minimal. I do that because I want to keep this pretty simple for you guys. So these will be the instructions right here, something like this. I'm not going to do ingredients. I'm just going to do the instructions as so. So this will be just this. Okay. And I'm not even going to format it. So really what I could do is, just add a, work like this where we have set aside and put a paragraph tag after each one because our database will take that data. So let's do a p tag here and a closing p tag here. And then we'll have a p tag here and a closing p tag here. Now I could do a list item for my HTML, but I don't really want to go that far. Most of you might just have, like, for your projects, they might be subjects like motor vehicle recommendations, like mechanic stuff, or maybe you're into music and it could just be a review of an album, something like that. Something like a forum thread. Could be homemaker tips. Could be tips about your education and your classes. So here's P, like this. So I'm just working down through the steps, and we're almost done. So once I get done with this, and I want to make sure that it sort of comes off like a list. That'll make it easier for the user. So I want to keep my project, even though it might be semi-complicated, more complicated than yours, I want to keep it simple so that you can know that what works for you works for everyone. Now notice how the p tags here, I've got the carriage returns. This is actually quite good. It actually helps me with my presentation layer. So what will happen though is I'll have a WYSIWYG on my form for the admin table. And that just simply means that I'll have a toolbar where I can add HTML. Next, I'm going to do recipe admin. So inside my username here, I'm going to do admin and admin. But one thing I'm going to make sure I do, because we're never supposed to keep an unencrypted password in a database. So one thing I'm going to do is actually encrypt this. So this will be, let me make sure that this is varchar. Let's see if we can do SHA-1. That'll be my choice of encryption. So if I click the browse button here on my data, this is admin and this is admin. Not a very strong password, but at least the password is not in the database. Ordinarily, I would have a table called, a table with fields like maybe uname and then IE style guide will be the field of this, something that no one cares about, because the word password tells people exactly what's in here. So that's sort of an issue. Now let's add some stuff for my the rest of the comments. So this would be this comment, and I don't have a user ID yet, which is fine. I do have a recipe ID though, so my recipe ID would be 1, and you can see that right here. So let's add a comment for the recipe. I'm going to hit insert, and I can do a user ID 1 and say this recipe was delicious, but in no way a replacement for a complete nutritious breakfast. Very little nutrition in my strawberry shortcake. So now I have ID 1, which I haven't entered a user yet, and I have recipe ID. And now let's add the recipe IP address. Okay, so I have My comment ID is 1. So I'd be user ID 1, comment ID is 1, and my IP address, which really should be it should not be an integer, it should be a variable character. So what I'm going to do is change my structure here, and we're going to go with varchar 255. I apologize for making that an integer. I wasn't thinking. That's what happens when you talk and code at the same time. So this would be 1 and 1, and if you want to see your IP address, I like the website IP Chicken. This is a good one. So this is my IP, and I'm going to put it right inside here. So now I have my comment ID, and almost everything I have except for the users is complete. So this will be my username, which is does not eat healthy food. No, let's make it one word. We'll call it let's do junk food junkie. That'll be my, there's my, we'll give him a year of birth, 1988. There you go. Typical username. So now I have data everywhere in my table. So when I go and create this table, I can just call the database and then worry about getting the data inserted on the functionality after. So in our next video, what we're going to do is code the presentation layer.